Saturday, 10th of May, 2025 at 10:41 a.m. here in Snohomish, Washington, United States of America. Welcome once again to our cosmic journey. It is your dev and design podcast highlighting the path that two jaunty gents took to make the world's best astrology software. I am Jaunty Gent Jake. He is Jaunty Gent Trey. Doesn't alliterate, that's fine. Hello, Trey.
I feel like this is a jaunty move.
You are jaunting up. You might not believe that we are 5 feet apart given our lighting situation, but that's just a disaster that we are working through.
Yeah, he's right over there.
You're right over there.
I got the angle right.
It sounded like you got the anal right. You meant angle.
Wow. Way to get us canceled off YouTube.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good, because I literally just talked to you.
What's that?
I said, that's good. I just literally talked to you.
Moments before this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the progress. I'm just really happy with the progress over the last few weeks. But this was the first week where I felt like it's like M1 is possibly actually within grasp.
Ooh. Well, we'll see. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if we can get M1 done by cycle 90. Today's episode in the cycle was called The Moments of Our Lives. And yes, it's supposed to be very dramatic. You'll see that in the check-in question. So I have the check-in question today. Mr. Henry,
yes,
who's down there, we'll talk a little bit about chart placements and panels and show all that stuff. And then I will show the life moment, which is why we call it The Moment of Our Lives. And there's a little bit of editing that goes with that. That's kind of cute and all. But before we get to all that, we, of course, start with the check-in question. If there is a portion of your life that could more closely resemble a soap opera, which portion of your life would that be?
I mean, probably early on in being an out gay man and having a boyfriend, but then also having an ex-boyfriend, which I was still kind of like seeing, let's say. And complicated factors therein, all showing up at a club at the same time, and the awkwardness.
What a skis!
Yeah. In the soap opera of my life, I am the bad guy.
That is skanky behavior, and you are a bad guy for doing it.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
So this is, you want more of that in your life? Then it sounds like
no.
That was the question. In your life, where would you like more soap opera drama? I appreciate you telling the viewer about your skankiness, but feel free to answer the question.
Oh, sorry. I thought that the question was about like some moment in your life that has been soap opera-like. That's interesting because I think almost all of it needs to have soap opera dialed down. In just every aspect of my life.
You just want it all calmed down.
Yeah. I don't like soap operas on, television or whatever, and I don't like them in my life either.
Got it. Okay.
No more soaps.
No more soaps.
What about you? What are your what are the things in your life that you feel like, or areas of your life that you feel like could?
I feel like I need more exotic locations in order to have disastrous things happen. So I would love nothing more than for me to be, in Italy at a villa and everything, and then a minor character die off. And then it turned into kind of a closed circle whodunit type of situation. Did I do it? I don't know. Did the skank do it? Who can say? But anything more that's really around, not necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't mind the actions around the drama, because I do love me a closed circle murder case.
Yeah. But you're looking for set changes.
I'm looking for set changes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think a set of like light shag carpeting and glass top coffee tables and something that feels
a little bit more 80s, and like we're going to do lines of some white powder, which we won't name right now.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot to Jake on the couch, cross-legged in high heels, drinking white wine out of a fancy white wine glass. Exactly. And then in walks the skank.
Here's the thing. My life could be more soap opera if I just drank. That's really my problem. So like maybe
the lack of drinking is
the lack of drinking does reduce drama. I've learned in life, as it turns out. Good check-in, everybody. Let's talk a little bit about what had happened this cycle. Mr. Henry, do you want to talk about you getting stuff into, like getting set it up for a cast chart and all that good stuff, and where we're going to go?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a lot of work this week on getting to a actual chart page. And we also have a chart list page, which I'll show in a second, which is very not exciting at the moment. However, it's putting the groundwork in place for the stuff that's coming very soon. And we now have I just want to show it actually. And for a different demo this time, we're actually going to show it in the app. We are looking at the actual app. Imagine a title bar that says Cosmic and looks just like a regular app on your desktop. And then in the upper left-hand corner here, which are very small right now, are a couple of buttons for the Now chart and Cast New chart. These are, like I said, these are placeholders, obviously. Like, we're not going to serve you a blank page, but this page will eventually be populated with your saved charts and, your natal charts and life moments and stuff Jake's going to talk about in a little bit. But so one of the cool things now is that one of the reasons we wanted to get this in was to make sure that all of the navigation within the application worked the way that we expect it to. So you can click on the Now chart and, I was just in here a second ago. Sorry about that. Imagine that you landed just like this. Also imagine that instead of a bunch of weird big buttons here, you actually had a chart. But this is at least demonstrating that the data is all there. We're just rendering it in buttons at the moment. Interesting sort of side point about this, though, is that you could imagine maybe like an accessible version of a chart, which is something like this, where it's literally just a list of placements, which we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
So you'll also notice, if you've been following along for a while, that this is starting to look pretty close to what we had before. But even better, because you'll notice that we also have our, we've got the location wired up. If I hover over it, we get the location picker, which we could change. Cast chart doesn't yet do the right thing, and actually this won't be cast chart. This will be add moment.
If you do that right now, there will be a bug, but that's fine.
Yeah,
that happens.
And these are all. But the other thing that I wanted to show here is that this is also updating in real time. So you can see that the seconds are updating here, and if we don't have the Ascendant and Midheaven and such, but also now we have the detail, the placement details showing, which is amazing to see this again. And you can see right now that the moon is very slow. And you can see that she's in the third house right now, according to the location that we're in, which is Lake Stevens, Washington. And this is all updating in real time. And the way that you know that is because this speed here will adjust. Just did. Very, very minorly, because the moon is, like you can see, these are like tiny, tiny fractions of a speed change.
But a speed change is a speed change.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Why we show it.
Yeah, and she's close to the slowest that she's going to be in this cycle. So, and I'll just click on a couple of these just so you can see what's going on here. Mercury is currently Deacon Lord. Venus is in her detriment in Aries, of course, in Mars's house, but she's currently the Bound Lord. Mars is just doing his thing.
Is Marsing.
Jupiter is, of course, in detriment in Gemini, Saturn's house. And Saturn is currently the Bound Lord. And everybody is currently direct in motion. So anyway, this is really wonderful. And we also have all of this logic is all correct now. I think we showed that before, but now you can see it in context as well. So this is like, really all we need to do now is to wire up the ability to, sort of save moments, which we'll get to in a second, display them on that page. We have to click on them, come in here. It's coming together. We still have a long way to go, but wow, it feels good to be at this point.
Yeah, very good. Very excited to finally see a chart one day. And we will work through all of the weird, wonky bugs and issues that go with all of that.
Yeah.
The things that I was working on this cycle were really around we had talked last week about like our desire to combine this idea of the ring, which is a representation, an event, which is a data structure, into a thing that's called a moment. So there are moments in time in which you can create astrological representations and get astrological, and just get understandings of those moments, whether astrological or not. So there are kind of generic events that are things that happen. We'll just have like the base level moment event kind of thing. We have these things that are called here and now, the here and now moment. And then we have life events. So if you can imagine, eventually, we had talked about this a long time ago in this episode up here, that there was this idea of the native, and we will have prominent people. So you can learn something about prominence, and you can create your own natives in there. To support all of that, you're going to need this thing that's called a life moment. So let's take a look at it. We're going to use the big screen. I fixed some of my views, so we're back to seeing the big screen up here. We haven't seen this view in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Here, you will see that there is a moment solo, which is what we call an event. The here and now moment, which is this color. And then, oh, look at there we have what is written here as a life solo, but in fact, what it is a life event. And so you can see up here, I've got the one life moment sticking in the upper left-hand corner. And I just got rid of my faces here so we can look up here together. You'll see that it has this tag. It just has a different color. It has the life moment. But as Mr. Henry did show, you can change the location. And if you hover over this thing, this will turn into a little bit of like let's change this thing. Click on it. And then you can type in something else. So let's say instead, I would like to change it to Carson City. Great. I hit the key there. It doesn't change because it's not wired up. But you can imagine in a future world that is all wired up and looks fantastic. I have this little like kind of bug here. Not a bug, but like sometimes the hover state sticks. I don't know. Something for me to work on. That is really all of that. There were some other minor things that we did, but we don't need to show all that stuff because you'll see it in a product relatively very soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit daunting still because not only do we have to finish a whole bunch of features and get the application actually, working in a reasonable way for an M1 release, but we also have to do all of the packaging and deployment and release stuff, which we haven't done anything for, and I'm super anxious.
Oh, anxious. That's
I'm excited. I'm also excited. I'm anxious and excited. But there is a time coming very soon that I'm super excited about, which is having Cosmic installed on my machine and being able to actually use it, because I use Urania on a nearly daily basis. Actually, probably more than a daily basis, when I just need to look something up really quick. Like I'll just be like, oh yeah, what's going on with this? I just pop up Urania and just look. That's like my sort of go-to for that. And being able to swap that now for Cosmic is a first step in really doing the thing that I always wanted to do with Urania, which is to turn it into real astrology software.
Yeah, this will be something that is real astrology software, as Mr. Henry talks about. Hey, it's shipped, therefore it's real, but I understand where he is.
Yeah, like something that Urania was really it was a first pass.
It was a labor of love.
Yeah, labor of love, first pass. We're doing it pro now, so it'll just be really nice to have that like initial step of being able to just use Cosmic instead.
If you're hearing an earthquake, that's our grandnephew upstairs playing. So let's go play with him right now. What should the good viewer do with their time and energy, Mr. Henry?
Play with children.
Play with children.
Fun. Take them to the store. We took him to Costco. It was super fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. He didn't decide to make a mess in his pants, and I think that made it a whole lot more fun.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing a diaper, so
although you did put in place a standard operating procedure in case the diaper did, that there was a failure, right?
Yeah, in case there was a sphincter failure.
We got trust but verify, right? Go to the store, bring a child to the store, but we have to verify that there is a standard operating procedure in place in case something disastrous happens. Be well, take care. We love you very much. Thank you for joining us this weekend or whatever day you watch this video. We will see you again next week. We love you again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.